Hey folks, welcome to my channel Number Pen. So there we have the problem on our screen. Find the derivative of the following. Square root of xy equals e to the power x minus y. Right. So before we go into solving these problems, I want to draw your attention to this particular type of function which we call as implicit functions, right? And why are we calling them implicit? Because when you look at this function, right, unlike all the previous problems which we have solved, where you would see that a dependent variable y is expressed in terms of an independent variable x, and all that we had to do is figure out what is your dy by dx, right? Now here in this particular expression, you do not have that representation that explicitly tells you y equals a function in terms of x, right? These functions, right, are called as implicit functions because y is still dependent on x, but y is not explicitly defined in terms of x, and therefore y is called an implicit function of x, right? So when we represent the final answer, you do not have to necessarily represent it in the form of x. You can still leave it, with your xy terms, right? And this is the first problem of this type. And when we solve more problems of this type, you will get uh, familiarized with how do we go about solving these problems, right? So again, when you see a function of the type square root of xy equals e to the power x minus y. What comes to our rescue? Logarithmic differentiation comes to our rescue, right? So I'm going to take a log on either side and see if I can simplify this expression. And what happens to my log of e to the power x minus y? I apply the power rule in the next step. So my log of square root of xy is nothing but log of xy to the power half, right? And when I apply the power rule, what does it actually turn out to be? It turns out to be half of log xy, right? Equals, and then again the power rule on the right hand side, which means that I have an x minus y times log e. And what is log e? Remember, all when we do a log on either side, we're taking a natural logarithm, and when we say natural logarithm, it is to the base e, right? Which is a log to the base e of e is nothing but 1, right? So therefore we have this expression half of log xy equals x minus y, right? Now I know how do I go about solving this particular problem, right? So I retain the half as it is, and then I go about applying the chain rule here. My outer function is a log function, and my inner function is xy, right? So I differentiate the outer function with respect to the inner function. So what will I get? 1 divided by xy into, and then I do a d by dx of xy, right? When I do a d by dx of xy, what do I get? This is what I have. And then I go to my RHS. My d by dx of x is 1, and then my d by dx of y is nothing but dy by dx, right? So I write it as it is. This is what I have. And then I go to the next step. I apply the product rule of differentiation to my LHS, right? So I have 1 divided by 2xy times d by dx of xy equals x times dy by dx plus y times d by dx of x, which is nothing but 1, right? So all that I'm doing is applying the product rule of differentiation, and then I have my RHS as it is. So, and now I see I have a dy by dx term on the left hand side. I have a dy by dx term on the right hand side, right? So let me do a little bit of rearrangement so that I can express my final dy by dx, right? And how do I do that? I rearrange this like this, and I take my minus dy by dx on the right, I take it to the left, and I what I have, and then I retain my 1, and then I will have a minus of 1 by 2x, right? And why is that? Because my y gets cancelled out. So this is what I have. And here again, my x gets cancelled out, right? I'm talking about the x here. Let me highlight it in green with the x here in the denominator, which is highlighted in yellow. So I have a dy by dx term which is common, and therefore I can pull that out, and then I have a 1 plus 1 by 2y, right? This is what I have. So I have dy by dx into 1 plus 1 by 2y equals dy by dx equals 1 minus 1 by 2x, right? So now we are more or less arrived at our final answer. My final answer for this would be 2x minus 1 divided by 2x. And again, I have a 2y plus 1 divided by 2y, right? I hope you folks are with me. I can cancel out the 2 here, right? I do a bit of rearrangement, and what do I get? I move y up. I get y times 2x minus 1. My 2 and 2 gets cancelled out. I'm talking about the 2 in the denominator, and I have 2y plus 1, right? So this is what we have. So my dy by dx equals y into 2x minus 1, the whole divided by x into 2y plus 1, right? So let me highlight it in pink, and there we have our final answer. So it's okay to leave our final answer in terms of y and x, because these functions are, like we spoke in the beginning of the problem, that these functions are implicit functions, right? So where y is not expressed explicitly as a function which is dependent on x, and therefore it is okay to leave the problem in terms of y and x, right? So I hope you found this video useful. Please do subscribe to my channel and support. Thank you.